All right, welcome to the EFW Coaches Roundtable. I'm here with mentor Lauren and mentor JC.
Hey, ladies.
Hi, ladies. We're very excited to share with you, ladies, today. Today, we're going to have a very short 15-minute, 10-minute roundtable on this whole concept of conscious versus masculine men. I'm going to ask our coaches some questions about how they feel about the topic. And then they're going to ask me some questions about the content, about what we're going to present today. Sound good, ladies?
I love it. Sounds
Awesome.
great.
So, Lauren and JC, have you noticed that there has been a wave of what seems to be male coaches in the industry teaching other men how to be quote unquote conscious or present? Have you ladies noticed this?
I
Yeah.
have. Yes.
All right. So on the surface, what has it looked like to you? And then I'm going to ask you in your internal woman grounding how it has felt to you. Those are two very different things. So on the surface, what have you thought when you see this sort of stuff?
To me, it feels on the surface very attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Like it almost is seducing me on some level into wanting that and
Mm-hmm.
feeling like, oh my goodness, this is everything I want in a man who is so present and aware.
Yeah, so good. What about you, JC?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the word conscious sounds like a very healthy thing. And so my on the surface, my initial response is that it sounds really attractive. It sounds like it's responsible. It sounds mature. It definitely attracts me on the surface. A
Yeah,
man would be, balanced and conscious and aware.
I love that. That is so spot on. And yet, in your feminine, if you feel into your womb and your stomach, your solar plexus, your hips as a woman, you're hearing these teachings about a conscious and present man as the number one thing. What does that internal guidance system tell you?
It's anxiety inducing. It almost makes me sick in my stomach, like a
Mm-hmm.
nausea and an unease. And I feel very unsettled. Like it takes me out of my own masculine, my own purpose. I feel like it's not protecting me and making me peaceful. It's the opposite.
So good. What about you, JC?
Yeah, the exact word came up for me, unsettled. It almost feels like it just doesn't feel safe. There's something not right, or it just in my stomach, I feel unsettled. I feel like uncertain. There's like this uncertainty, but unsettled is the stronger feeling, the stronger word
Yeah.
that something just isn't in its right place.
So good. Ladies, for you ladies listening to this is the difference. And this is how you begin to identify a masculine man versus this entire concept of a conscious man. So let's go to the mind. When you look at it on the surface, why is it seducing? Why does it sound like such a great and phenomenal idea to that part of us? Let's hear from Lauren. Why do you think?
Because it's everything we've always wanted. It's everything I've always wanted as a woman. I see it triggers me into this fantasy of we could spend hours just being present with each other and losing the days as we just like are just together in presence and total connection. And I feel all of these fantasies come in about the future with this person
Mm-hmm.
without even knowing what that looks like in reality.
So good. What about you, JC?
Yeah, for me, again, I think about the word conscious. And as I think about a man being conscious, to me, it leads me to believe without knowing that he will be strong and balanced and have immense wisdom, which feels super safe to me. So
Mm-hmm.
I could move into that and feel like, yes, we're going to be able to connect. It's a connection. So it almost alludes to intimacy, which is what I crave and I desire in a man.
Mhm. And maybe it alludes to feeling that we might be emotionally accepted, right? We might have a connection.
Right.
Hmm. So now let's talk to our womb and our feminine, our that ancient intuition as women that tells us so much truth about the real solidity of a man. So Lauren, that part of you that's anxious and unsettled at this whole conscious man, thing, what is it saying? Why is she unsettled?
It's saying this man is not protecting the things that are important to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go deep.
um, he's going to take you out of your life, of the things you are building, of your purpose and your mission. He's going to take you out and make you aimless in the world. That's where he's leading you. He's leading you away from structure and safety and purpose by using this idea of meaningful connection and being so seen by him and him feeling so seen by you. And the words that he's using sound amazing, but underneath it's leading me into almost this codependent fantasy of only needing each other and not being in our own grounded lives and purposes. It takes me out of myself and my masculine energy, what I am building.
But yeah, I know you keep mentioning your masculine, but what about your feminine? How does your inner woman feel about this man?
She feels anxious, ungrounded, like he isn't going to be able to really have her. And once she has him, she doesn't trust that he will be able to be there consistently for her.
Why? Let's talk to your inner woman. Let's talk to your inner feminine. Why is that?
She feels like it's a chase for him. He wants to get her with these words, but once he has her, he won't be able to stay with her. He's going to be off elsewhere and not present with her.
So she's sensing that he isn't what?
Safe, reliable,
What about grounded?
grounded. Yeah.
Does she feel that he's grounded?
On the surface, but underneath, she feels no, very ungrounded.
Why is that?
Because he's not, he feels like this leaf that can just blow away to wherever he's next tempted to go, not moving step by step and towards something that he wants to go directly towards. He seems like he could veer in any direction at any moment in his life, and he's very ungrounded in how he carries himself and his body.
You just described masculine energy. So essentially, your inner woman is saying, this is not masculine energy. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel my inner little girl rejects it. He's like, but that is fantasy. Like, I want the fantasy. But my inner woman is so relieved, like, so relieved. It's
What
good.
about you, JC, the part of you that's restless and unsettled?
Yeah.
What is it saying?
What's coming up for me is that it's like this, it feels like pseudo masculinity. It
Exactly.
feels like I'm going to have to be the masculine one again. It feels like I'm going to take on that role again and have to take care of a man. It's this idea of, it's this sneaky, crafty thing that says I'm masculine, but it really is thinly veiled. It's not true masculinity. And
Mhm.
so that just feels for me unsafe, unstable, unbalanced. It feels I'm going to be responsible again in mothering a grown man.
Yeah. How does your feminine feel into your feminine inside, your feminine woman, your your womanhood, being a woman? How does she feel with this message? Lauren and JC, the number one thing you need from a man is his presence, not his commitment, not his direction, not his leadership, not his protection, just his presence. What does your inner woman feel?
Feels like an excuse or a cop out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so all you have to do is be there, like I feel like there has to be more. So it just feels like excuses and a cop out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how does your woman feel being told? Because what these men are teaching is that this is what the feminine is. That this is masculinity. This is what women want most. This is what they're teaching, right? And for a lot of us as women, we can get swept up in that because we feel that emotional connection, but we don't realize that we have a right to have our feminine be in relationship to a masculine man, which is commitment, leadership, providership, protection, planning, direction, right?
Yeah.
And so this teaching that's going around that women what they want most is a present man. How does your woman feel? So if I am the message, if I'm embodying that message and I'm speaking that to you, Lauren and Jason, I'm saying, JC, being a woman means that what you want most is a man who's present. Who cares about commitment because monogamy isn't cool these days? Who cares about him having a strong, financial grounding and responsibility? Who cares about him having direction? It's about being present and conscious. What does your inner woman say to that?
Exclamatives. Makes her very angry.
I'm like, what is the agenda? There's an agenda here.
What does she feel?
Ugh. Unsafe, turned off, confused. It hopeless. I mean, not hopeful, because that's not what my heart desires.
Okay,
Yeah.
keep going. How else does your inner woman feel, Lauren? Tell me all the feelings, because this is what we're teaching women here, is that they can have a present man with an amazing emotional connection, but that this teaching that's going on, and it's quite insidious, and we've had some clients who have fallen into the vortex of thinking, oh my goodness, a conscious man is the ultimate, and he's so in touch with his feelings, and he's so self-aware, this certainly must be the thing, only to then start a relationship with him, and 2 to 3 to 4 months in, her inner Kali, which is what Lauren was saying, I feel expletives, and JC was saying, I feel anger, her inner the part of her that wants to break down illusions and break down separation, because it's actually is a cop out. It's another manifestation of Peter Pan. I have actually coached a lot of men in this industry. Some of those coaches I've actually coached to turn that around, and it is still a man seeking to prove to the world that he's manly because he can have all these women in bed, he can have all these women around him, but reject real responsibility. And the masculine does not reject responsibility. The masculine embraces responsibility. The masculine is defined through commitment, right? That's when you get a really solid masculine man where there's a weightiness and solidity to him. So again, I'll say it again to both of you. Let's say that I am a male coach and I'm pretending that I know women. And I am saying to these men, you can have as many women as you want. You can have all the sex you want. What you just need to do is learn to be conscious and present and make space for women's emotions. It doesn't matter if they're violent or aggressive or they have all these emotions. Just make space, be present, be solid, be immovable. When she's having an emotional storm, you don't move. You're present. You're the conscious man. And then I turn around and I say to you women, what you want most, I am imposing this teaching on you. I am telling you what it is to be a woman, essentially, right? How do you feel being told what it is to be a woman? That doesn't feel good, right?
No, not at all.
Lauren?
No, I feel so misunderstood and so turned off and unseen.
Which is then what our clients who have dated men like this feel. They feel unseen in their feminine because these men are putting off any sort of responsibility that navigates the world with a responsible and grounded way. And so this sort of teaching is going to appeal a lot to men who want to find a justifiable reason to remain Peter Pans, but take on the cloak or the impression that they are embodied men. And we want to share this with women because we want to tell you, teach you to learn to listen to yourself. We're not going to tell you how to be women. We're not going to tell you what you should want. You're free to want whatever you want. We're telling you to listen in and to learn to trust your feminine, the ancient voice inside of you of your feminine intuition. So again, I'll say it one more time. Lauren and JC, you know, what you ladies want more than anything is a man who's conscious, who's present. He might not commit to you. He might not protect you. He might not be monogamous. He might not be a provider or a protector or a leader. He might not even know what his vision for his life is because he lives in the moment. But what you want the most is a very conscious and present man. What do you feel? What does your woman in your womb, in your solar plexus, in your hips, what does that feel like?
So empty, so sad.
Emptiness, sadness. That's absolutely correct. So let's hear the feelings.
She feels defeated. She feels,
Defeated.
yeah, so defeated. So it's crazy making. Like she wants to spiral out of control.
And that is exactly what happens to our clients who come to us having dated men like this. They feel like they become highly reactive. What about you, JC? How does that feel to have that kind of rained on your spirit and your body as a woman, that that's the message, that's what you want? How does that feel?
There's a part of me that there's just a huge letdown. It just feels, I feel deflated. And then there's another indignant part of me that is like, heck no, this is not okay.
Yeah,
So there's sort of both.
absolutely. So we're going to be teaching you ladies in our 5-week program to identify masculine men. They can still be conscious. They can still have self-awareness. They can be self-defining, which is a very masculine trait. Know who they are, be very connected to themselves, and be able to be very grounded and make a lot of space for you. Absolutely. But today we wanted to just touch very, very quickly on this subject, not go too deep into it. We're going to go a lot deeper in our 5-week program. We're going to teach you how to identify truly masculine men. We're going to teach you how to date them, how to go through the entire dating stage. If you're married to one and he's pulled away, we're going to teach you how to bring him back to adoration and wanting to protect you and cherish you and provide for you and step into that amazing man. But just briefly, how does it feel to be with a masculine man? Lauren and JC, how does it feel to be with a solid masculine man? What are the feelings that your womb feels, that your feminine, that your womanhood feels?
It just feels, it triggers, it's almost like giddiness. Like I just want to twirl around the room and
Giddiness, twirling, feminine.
I just feel so seen and known, and like I feel very I guess just very known and understood. I feel like I can be myself. Like that's who I really am and I was created to be, and that to be able to to be that and be seen by a man in that, and not only seen, but him to absolutely eat it up and love it, feels amazing.
It is. That's polarity.
Yes.
It
That
it feels like giddiness, it feels like joy, it feels like happiness, it feels like all the femininity bubbles up. Those, it's like bubbles, right? It's coming up, all this femininity, all this radiance, all this happiness, all this fulfillment. What about you, Lauren?
That's exactly what it is. It's a sense of just a deep sigh of relief and feeling so grounded, so happy. I'm able to be myself and be loved. You feel so loved and seen. And immediately I feel expressive and in this flow of emotion. And I can cry and laugh and smile and be happy and just move in emotion in a way that I would feel very restricted to do with this other man, conscious man.
Yeah, and so we are not going to come here to knock anybody's work or what other people are doing. Our responsibility to all of you, our passion and our love to protect you and to help you in this process of doing, walking the radiant woman way, coming back home to yourself, healing yourself, is we want you first to be clear on what you want, and we want to clear up what a masculine, a true divine king feels like. And we want to help you avoid the traps of falling for something that is masculine appearing, that is trying to window dress masculinity, but at the end doesn't offer you the protection, the commitment, the devotion, the safety and the solidity and the rocks. We want a man for you that can be your rock, and not a man that you are the rock while he is a flag blowing in the wind. That is not a good feeling to have as women. And so we want to talk about this. We've seen a lot of clients come to us who have been dating this type of man and thought it was the divine union and thought it was so fulfilling. And then after they started dating, the cracks began to appear, as they will, because it's not a solid foundation. And if it's not a solid foundation, those cracks will begin to appear. Water will come through those cracks, and then Kali in all her glory will go down in a reactive in a reactive spiral. And then if she doesn't know better, she'll still pine for this man, and she'll get love addicted to him because he appears to be masculine and connects with her emotionally, but then he pulls away because he's unavailable and not responsible. But because he has the appearance, it might be very confusing for her, and it might lead her to a cycle that was never intended to be protective to her. And so as we shared today, we all have a deep and profound and ancient feminine guidance system inside of ourselves. You will always know if a man isn't as masculine when you have done the work to connect with this part of yourself. In case, for some women, this part has not been modeled, they're not connected to that, and they're trying to find something that will teach them how to be women, when it's really just inside of yourself all along. And so inside of you, inside of me, and we connect to that when we connect to the softness of our heart, and when we come back with compassion to our feminine desires and are really willing to listen to those longings. That's when that feminine intuition's voice gets louder and stronger and can guide us and say, this man isn't as solid. This man can't give me what I want. It doesn't make him right. It doesn't make him wrong. It's not my place to judge. It is my place to move on and receive that devotional masculine love from a man that can truly provide for me.
Mm.
Awesome. Thank you, Lauren and JC. You ladies are awesome. And we will be talking more about this topic in our 5-week program. In our module 2, I will be talking about masculine men's timeline for commitment. In this timeline for commitment, I will break down what a masculine man looks like when he begins dating you at month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, 5, 8, a year into engagement and into marriage. And we will be breaking down what divorced men look like, what Peter Pan men look like, what conscious men look like in those dating stages. But more than anything, if what you want to attract is a masculine king, we are going to break down the entire dating process from date one all the way to marriage and show you how a radiant woman shows up and show you where he's at in his emotions and his commitment every single month and how that's developing for him. And when you know that, it completely changes the dating game for you. So that'll be module 2 of our powerful Radiant Woman program. I'm going to give you all a chance to claim your spot Saturday evening. And we're going to give you a lot of gifts at our live event, June 26th at 6 p.m., broadcast into the High Value Woman. Thank you, ladies. Sending you all a big hug. Bye-bye.